Breaking news, Penn State and Iowa will not wrestle in the National Collegiate Duals. So what can you expect from this event? Let's stop stalling and start talking wrestling. What's going on, wrestling fans? My name is Josiah, and welcome to Fanco Wrestling, your source for college wrestling news and discussion. And the National Collegiate Dual pools are finally revealed. We can now dive into each pool and understand who's going to be wrestling each other. I'm going to help you understand how the National Collegiate Duals are actually working, as well as some of the awesome matchups you can look forward to at the duels. The duels will be taking place on Rokfin on December 20th and 21st. They'll be happening in Niceville, Florida, but you can watch from your living room live on Rokfin. I have it linked up down in the description below. You can sign up for $9.99, cancel anytime, and there are going to be some great duels that you're not going to want to miss out on. So, first of all, understanding how the National Collegiate Duals work. There's 2 days. Day one is all pool play. There are two big pools, the blue pool and the red pool. The blue pool will only wrestle teams in the blue pool. The red pool will only wrestle teams in the red pool. Within there are two sub pools, if you want to call them, under each of these. There's the 3 teams in each sub pool that will wrestle each other on day one in a round robin style event. So you see here, pool 1, Penn State, Cornell, and Northern Iowa will wrestle each other on day 1. And then the winner, basically whoever's the best in each pool, will go on to day 2 to wrestle in a first and second place match with the other pool. The second place teams, there will be a third and fourth place match, as well as a fifth and sixth place match. So all teams are going to be wrestling on both days, which is kind of cool. Initially we thought it was going to be a bracket, but now it's kind of broken down that way. Maybe you wanted to see Penn State and Iowa wrestle, but I'm telling you, you're still going to get some great matches. So let's look at pool 1, Penn State, Cornell, and Northern Iowa. Arguably this is the toughest pool because it's the only pool to have all 3 teams ranked in the top 25. Penn State is the number 2 team. Cornell coming off a huge win over Stanford, and really, I mean, they're contending to be a top 10 team. And it's potential that they could crack in there. Like maybe they won't beat Penn State, but if you look at like who they wrestle on day 2, they're probably going to have either Arizona State or Virginia Tech. If they get a winner over them, that's cracking right into the top 10, potentially, depending on everything else going on. But just with this Penn State and Cornell duel, you can see Vito Arujau and RBY wrestle at 133 pounds, which I think is going to be one of the best matchups to watch. Another fun thing to watch up in this matchup, which is 100% happening, is going to be Max Dean and Ben Darmstadt at 197 pounds. Those are teammates now going to be wrestling each other. Northern Iowa also adds some excitement to the mix. Parker Keckeisen as well as Aaron Brooks could be wrestling each other at 184 pounds. And I'll say right here at the beginning, I hope that anybody's running. I hope that all teams send their best teams forward and that we're going to get the best matchups possible at this event. In pool 2, Arizona State, Virginia Tech, and Hofstra. Wow, this is tough. I mean, Arizona State and Virginia Tech, 2 top 10 teams with solid lineups from top to bottom. Each of these teams at the beginning of the year is coming off of some good wins. Arizona State over Oklahoma, Virginia Tech. I mean, look, unfortunately they had that tight loss to Ohio State. I don't think that really knocks them down that much. Maybe they're not a better team than Ohio State, but you do that duel on another day, it's a potential that it could be. So I think here, if they are able to beat like an Arizona State, that shows that they really deserve to be in that top 10 spot. And then Hofstra will add some good matchups to the mix. I hope they get a couple wins throughout pool 1, this blue pool. Red pool. Red pool is, I mean, you got Iowa, Lehigh, and Central Michigan at the top here in pool 1. And Iowa should be the commanding force in the red pool. I think you're going to get some good dual meets. And like with Lehigh or Central Michigan, you'll get some good matchups. But, you know, Iowa they're the top dogs. Lehigh adds some interesting things in the mix. If they can beat like a Central Michigan or Central Michigan can beat Lehigh, there's like some triangles kind of going on already this season. Campbell beat Lehigh. Lehigh beat Pitt. Oregon State beat Campbell. And then Lehigh, later in the season, in Central Michigan, have some other top matchups. Like, I think if nothing else, the national duels will show that there's a lot going on in that top 25 where we'll see who that is at the end of the year, but at least we'll get some of these tougher matchups. Then pool 2, Mizzou, NC State, and Binghamton. Yikes. You know, I said that pool 1 and over here in blue pool with Penn State, Cornell, and Northern Iowa may be one of the toughest pools just based on rankings, but here you have the number 4 and number 5 team in the country in one pool. that will be wrestling each other. And, you talk about Arizona State and Virginia Tech, who have tough stud lineups. These two teams have some of the toughest lineups in the country from top to bottom. Not just tournament teams, but especially dual meet teams. And seeing them able to wrestle each other, we have the Big 12 versus the ACC. The ACC's contending, there's a big competition between ACC or Big 12. Who's the better conference? Who's the tougher conference? We may find out who's kind of the top dog. I know Oklahoma State's not in there for the Big 12, but man, that's going to be a great matchup. And then you look to just day 2 matchups, depending on if Mizzou or NC State wrestlers, likely who's going to be Iowa. You could get Keegan O'Toole at 165 wrestling against Alex Marinelli on day 2. Wow, that would be quite the matchup. Two guys contending for a national title. And then if NC State pulls out this victory over Mizzou, we could see Michael Kemmerer and Hayden Hidley wrestling each other. Just some of the top 174 pounders in the country are going to be here. Virginia Tech and Penn State, if they wrestle, you got Mekhi Lewis and Carter Sirachi is kind of what I'm saying. So, just look at that 174 pound weight class that's going to be here. It's unbelievable. The National Collegiate Duals will be taking place December 20th and 21st live on Rokfin. Again, everything is linked up down in the description below. Who do you think is going to win the duels overall? I'd love to hear you. Sound off in the comments below.